Alright, AA6, factor quadratics and special cases. So on these, you can use that we've been using and everything, but if it's special cases, that means that there's probably a shortcut on how to do some of the problems. And on these, we're going to be using some square root kind of situations. Okay, so on your factor flowchart, questions to ask yourself on if you can't remember what to do and when to do it. Very first question is there something we can take out? So on these, it's no. Then it says, is it a binomial, trinomial, or does it have 4 terms? And anytime it has just 2 terms with a minus sign in between them, it's possibly probable, it's a very strong possibility, like 99% possibility, that it's going to be difference of squares. Why difference of squares? Because that's a minus sign, and what word do we use for minus? To subtract, or it's a difference. We're finding it, and the squares, what are those 2 things? Something being squared. Okay, so what we do, if that is the situation when you have a binomial with a subtraction sign in between them, if you can take the square roots of both ends, and there's a minus sign between them, then it's a difference of squares. Basically, that's the easiest way that I can say that. And if you do have that, then it is so super duper easy to do. Well, the square root of a squared would just be an a. The square root of b squared would just be a b. You put a plus sign with one, you put a minus sign with the other, and you are finished. That's the rule for difference of squares. Now, on these 3, it's a trinomial, but if you can take the square root of both ends, and in this case you can, you get AB. And if you have whatever A and B is, and you multiply them together and you get double, and the inside is double whatever the A and B are, then it's these, and it's actually I'm drawing a blank right now. I don't know if that has a special name or not. But anyway, if you did, then we can do it this way. So what you would do is, you take the square root of your ends, and whatever this sign is, you put it in both. And if you have something multiplied by the same something, it's squared, and it'd be a plus b quantity squared. In IXL, you can either put this in the computer or that in the computer. It will take both. Same concept. If you can take the square root of your ends and whatever that is, and you can double it to get the middle, then it's going to be this one, A and B, but whatever that sign is, you put it in both. And since it's the same in both, you have A minus B squared. So you can use those as patterns, or those are the rules, to be able to do this. And for some reason, I know that that has a name for it. I just can't think of it right now. So I apologize for that. Okay, 2 terms. Can you take, oopsie. Is there a minus sign between? Yes. Can you take the square root of both ends? Yes. So this is the difference of squares. So you're going to have 2 parentheses. What's the square root of 9q squared? 3q. Because 3q times 3q is 9q squared. What's the square root of 1? 1. Because 1 times 1 is 1. You put a plus sign in one, you put a minus sign in the other, and that is going to be your answer. Yes, you can put the minus sign in the first one and the plus sign in the second one, and it will be perfectly fine. Okay, so I'm like, oh, 16. I can take the square root of 16, and I can take the square root of c squared. That would be a 4c, right? And what's twice as much as 4c? 8c. So, the square root of c squared is c, and that's a 4. Whatever the sign is right there, and we were going to have 2 of them. That's it. The square root of this is 2v. The square root of this is 1. And if I double it, I get 4v. So, 2v and 1 with the plus sign, and it's been squared. Can you square a root and square a root and there's a minus sign? Yes. Square root of h squared is h, square root of 16 is 4. I'll put the minus sign first and the plus sign second on this one to show you it doesn't matter. 25 and 16, and those look like special numbers, right? Can you take the square root of 25? Can you take the square root of 16? Yes, this is 5r, and that's 4. 5 times 4 is 20. If I double it, I get the middle. So it is a special case. This will be a 5r minus 4 squared. 4t and 7. If I multiply those, I get 28t, and 2 of those is 56. So this is a special case. So 4t plus 7 squared. Difference of squares, 9z plus 10, 9z minus 10. Okay, so you're like, okay, well, you can't square root these. This is in a special case. Well, it is because on the problems that I've done so far, there hasn't been a greatest common factor, and so we haven't had to do anything with that. But we have 50, 160, and 128. All of those are even numbers, so there is a 2 in common with those. So first off, we have to take out a 2. Sorry about the TV. It will be turned down in just a minute. Okay, so the 2 is chilling, the 2 is down, but it is part of the answer. So then we square root the 25 and we square root the 64. That's going to be a 5, and that's going to be an 8. If I multiply those together, I get 40. If I double those, I get an 80. So it is a special case. Remember the 2, do not forget the 2, and it's going to be squared. What's going to be squared? 5p and 8. What sign's going to be in between them? A plus sign. That's a plus. 27 and 3. Well, there's 2 numbers with a minus sign between them, but you can't square root them, can you? So you're like, it's not a difference of squares. Well, it is because I have to take a 3 out first. So now, square root of 9w squared is 3w. Square root of 1 is 1. One of them is a plus and one of them is a minus. Made it. Oh, so and 2 more. 25 and 121. Nothing can go out of those. If I square root this, I get 5f. If I square root this, what do I get? 11, and 11 times 5 is 55, and double 55 is 110. So there's nothing that we take out, so it's a perfect square. What is a perfect square? That's the name of it. They're perfect squares. Okay, so 5f and then minus 11. You know, sometimes you just kind of lose it. You know me by now. I lose it quite a bit. 288 and 98 are even. 2 is the biggest number that goes into both of those. So we have to take a 2 out first. 2 is part of the answer. It's a difference of squares, so there's going to be 1 plus and 1 minus. The square root of 144 is 12. Don't forget the g. Square root of 49 is 7.